It is 12 noon, lunch hour. Always lunch hour here at Social Taco. Come on by and see us. We'll be here until 2 o'clock. Great crowd as always. Cast outside. Big crowd inside. Great food. Great camaraderie with the listeners and
The
jocks.
fellowship, the camaraderie, the breaking of the tortilla. I have not said tortilla in a long time. No, but not only today, but the half-off happy hour. It's 3 to 6, Monday through Friday. Half-off apps and drinks, and we should have some pretty nice weather. It's a little overcast and breezy outside, but you have patrons that are enjoying a nice lunch here at Social Taco, socialtaco.bar. For more information, I always tell you about the garage. They're located right there in Pelham, and they're a local company. Just start by going to the garageinpelham.com. And look at the website and look at the reviews that you're going to find. They're going to be 5 stars across the board, and there's a reason why people who have dealt with the garage in Pelham to service and take care of their automotive needs for so many years, even when they move out of the area, they got customers from Montgomery, Crane Hill, they're around the lake that still drive to the garage in Pelham for all significant repairs because they know they're going to be done right. And that's just a history in the business that they've stood on. And that name, Bob is the owner. He's a wonderful guy. He's very charitable. You're just going to know the moment you walk in. You're just going to feel that courteousness, that professionalness, and you're going to see that the garage in Pelham, the reason why people keep coming back. Always going to feel comfortable. They're going to warranty the work that they do. Once again, it's thegarageinpelham.com. Certainly worth the drive, and get your AC checked out before the really hot weather gets here. They got the new diagnostic machines, and they can handle even the newest AC refrigerants. It's thegarageinpelham.com. Always tell them Landrum from Jock sent you.
The Auburn football program, practice number 7 in the books down on the Plains. They had a media open viewing period, so we'll share some information that we're getting from Auburn. Just a little while later, we can tell you that during the Iron Bowl period of practice, they played Dixieland Delight.
Yeah, Alex Golesh, just by listening to interviews, and I probably said this, but it even reinforces it more, that the attention to detail with him and thinking about the things not only with roster and staff, but the little things that he was detailing that he's still seeking to find. He can't really grasp big picture yet because he says he's so focused on the little things that he knows have to be done right. Reminds me of, and I'm not comparing or predicting, but it reminds me of some successful coaches that have coached college football before and kind of his mindset. Not saying that's the only way, but it's different for Auburn fans from at least what seems like the last couple of coaches we've had there on the Plains.
Speaking of coaching on the Plains, Stephen Pearl, the head basketball coach of the Auburn Tigers, he named Brian Cloman as the new general manager of the Auburn University men's basketball program earlier this week. A veteran in the field of player personnel and strategic initiatives, Cloman joins Pearl's staff from Louisville and worked directly alongside Pat Kelsey for the last 11 years. And I bring up Brian Cloman and his new job as general manager because it did not take long for Auburn to go into the portal and make some news. We'll share that information with you, but this is what Stephen Pearl had to say yesterday about naming Brian Cloman as the new general manager of Auburn basketball.
Right now, his whole sole purpose is, getting us as organized as possible and, adding his network of connections in the college basketball world and the agent world to the network that we currently have, and figuring out how to mesh those two together and build out a system that obviously allows us to have an opportunity to recruit the best players in this year's portal. He's going to help, kind of structure our recruiting schedules and how we go about things. He's going to have like a to-do list for me every single week on different things to do. He's going to just take some of the things that I had to do off my plate. He's going to do more of the negotiating when it comes to contracts with our people at On to Victory and Brett Whiteside and Jared Banco, and just be that I guess that connector between us, the players, the agents, and then obviously the folks at Auburn that are helping us, get these things done.
It's crazy to think that there are still head coaches at the Power 4, Power 5 level in basketball that are having these negotiations with agents and players. There needs to be somebody else to take care of that.
Can make things awkward, I would think.
I would think so.
Yeah, you need
Big
somebody who's maybe not that presence every day, like a Kloman. And, you brought that up, Pat, but I didn't really even think about it from that angle. Just thinking that the coach probably that's not his realm of dealing with contracts and all of that. But from the other perspective, and that's what you just made me think of is, man, I'm coaching these guys. Tell them to go and play hard, and the guy goes and outperforms. Can he go and come back to his coach and go, see, I told you I was worth that extra $200,000. Yeah, probably better you remove yourself.
Well, it didn't take long, whether it was Kloman or Stephen Pearl had a relationship with someone overseas. But this morning, Auburn announced that they have already signed a 7-foot French center, Narcisse Ngoy, to join the Auburn men's basketball program for next season. Ngoy has been one of the most dominant players in the French Elite 2 League, averages around 11 points per game, 11.5 rebounds per game, 2.5 blocks per game, 70% from the floor. Ngoy has 3 of the top single-game rebounding performances this season in the league with 21 boards, while also having 19 and 16 rebounds in a game, respectively. So Stephen Pearl adding a 7-footer for 2026-27.
Yeah, he looks like a strong kid too. This is not a lanky. Thick. This is not a string bean. Yeah, he's athletic. He's cut up, and look, if it was the getting off the team bus test, he would pass it. But life in the SEC, and as we've seen, sometimes European ball that doesn't translate necessarily. But 7 foot and athletic, just watching the tape, being a rim protector and somebody who's going to alter shots, I can absolutely tell you this guy will do that. Man. I don't know if he ever scores a bucket.
You think Jovic is back?
I do.
I think he's back too.
Yep. That's one kid that you got. Now, a lot of times he didn't know what he was doing, but he would go 1,000,000 miles an hour and hustle every single second he
worked hard.
He did work hard. And I think Auburn fans can certainly appreciate that from this past year and this team.
I would definitely think he was one that they would welcome back.
I would think so. He seems like he's a kid that wants to absorb, wants to be coachable. And, I mean –
well, look at him in the NIT so far. He's taken opportunities to shine a little bit more than what he did in the regular season.
And there's still – it seems like maybe there's a little bit of a barrier because you see Stephen Pearl trying to instruct him or tell him stuff in real time, and then he's not really understanding, and Stephen Pearl kind of throw up his hands and bring him over to the bench and somebody talk to him. But this is a good start, getting some of that size. They had to have that.
NIT semifinals Thursday night, New Mexico and Tulsa. That will be the first game at 6 o'clock. And then Illinois State and Auburn, that will tip around 8:30 from Hinkle Fieldhouse there at Butler in Indianapolis,
Illinois
Indiana.
State, not this year, but is that – I know that the UAB women, they played Illinois State, but did UAB men play Illinois State? Was that maybe a couple of years ago in non-conference?
That is correct.
It's a good basketball program.
That is correct. So that will be coming up on Thursday night, and we anticipate that obviously all of these college basketball programs, the UABs, the Samfords, the Jacksonville State, South Alabama, Auburn, obviously, it is going to be a very, very busy first part of the week because the transfer portal will open up on Monday, the day of the national championship game. It will be a very busy time as teams try to decide what they're going to do.
And I wonder how much of last year with Auburn making that deep run in the tournament, I wonder how much that hurt them as far as going out and finding some of these guys. We know it's like an offensive tackle, a high profile in the transfer portal in football. There's only so many 7-footers that are already here stateside, and maybe they played or they're coming out of high school. Most of those guys, they're gone. But a lot of these European 7-footers that are worth the salt, that you feel like they're worth the investment to bring over, those guys go quick too. So definitely helping having a GM and somebody like Kloman with that European presence and knowing the club and all the folks that you need to know over there.
Braves win last night 4-0 against the A's. They're now 3-1 on the season.
Elder looked good.
Yeah, I was about to say, what did you think of Elder last night?
He looked good.
6 scoreless innings, pretty good.
With the what was that, the splitter that he throws, when he's locating it like that, that's fine. But bad Bryce Elder is when those pitches that were effective last night, they hang in the zone. I mean, his good and bad, the chasm. He can look like an all-star one night, and then the next night he looks like a guy that has never thrown against a professional bat.
Dubon, who came over in the trade with the Astros, he gets three ribbies last night.
Yeah, and with the addition of him, having to bring in Yastrzemski with the Profar deal and all of that, you're still going to get Kim back from the hand injury that he suffered slipping on ice back in his home country of Korea in the offseason. But right now, aggressiveness on the bases, you see it, but Atlanta's had a couple of guys that have gotten picked off too.
Sorry my team couldn't help y'all out last night.
Yeah, well, Mets are a tough team. Philly's struggling a little bit out of the gate.
Slow start for the Phils.
And the Nationals, what? We talked to Barrett Salee. He said it's going to be
first week of the season.
I know, but he said it's going to be an entertaining division because he doesn't feel like there's a really bad team in our division.
Well, the whole key is in your division, what teams' records are against the Marlins.
Yeah.
The Marlins is the team that is good enough to cause you some heartache and some heartburn.
And how is Sandy Alcantara? How is he still with the Marlins? Every trade deadline, he is one of the hottest names that's out there.
Well,
and
he's
nobody
coming
ever
off the
takes him.
Arm injury.
Right.
So, I mean, I guess probably mid-season this year, as long as he shows no signs of ill effects recovering from that arm injury, I would think that he probably would be on the block. But I saw – we were talking about uniforms earlier. Did you see what the Marlins wore, I think, on Sunday?
No.
You need to do a search on that.
Did it look like Toucan Sam on acid?
I can't even do it justice by explaining it. If not, I'll pull it up during the break. I'll log into the video stuff and show it. It was god-awful. It was terrible. Absolutely horrible. I'll pull it up during the break.
Yeah, I like the iconic teal ones.
No. Oh, no, those. Matter of fact, it might have been on Saturday night that they
Is it?
No, they weren't those. But the Atlanta Braves announced today a new City Connect jersey. If you did not see it, it pays homage to the old blues that they used to wear on the road with lowercase a in Atlanta.
What is it? Oh, is that it?
That's it.
Oh,
yeah,
gosh.
but the batting helmet is what you need to look at. It's got a two-tone.
Well,
it literally looks like a softball team's helmet.
Let's start with the jersey in the horizontal neon stripes. That looks like, you know what that looks like to me without Miami and the Nike swoosh? If you just took the backdrop with those horizontal stripes, that's the backdrop for a school picture.
Yeah.
Back in 4th or 5th grade.
Mm-hmm.
Or something you would get at Glamour Shots. That is hideous.
Oh, it's bad. It is really bad.
So you said batting helmet.
Yeah, let me try to find it here, and I'll show it to you during the commercial break. But it's brutal. Now I will say this: there's some of these jerseys, the City Connects, and I'm not saying that's a City Connect jersey. I just think it's just an ugly jersey. Period. I think for the most part, there's been some really cool ones. I think the Braves did theirs right. Cardinals, not so much.
I like Colorado's, the one that they did that was like the license plate.
Yeah, that looks good. Let's see here. Let me see if this is the game as I'm trying to get this pulled up for you. But, yeah, it's some of these designs by some of these teams are just brutal.
Well, I'm guessing that the Marlins fan base, I don't know how big their fan base is.
All 3,000 of them?
Yeah. I'm just thinking that part of the country. I mean, I've been down there. I could see where those fans are probably excited about that jersey. They probably bought them one.
Yeah.
They're not attractive. So do they – so it's all a money-making thing. I like the Braves City Connect that they have. Why are they having to – not that these new ones are bad, but Is that something that Major League Baseball says, hey, we need to regenerate?
Well, the City Connect deal, that's a Nike situation.
Like Landrum needs to buy another jersey?
They, they like to try to get people like me and you that are uniform geeks, I guess, to buy more stuff.
Well, I'll tell you what. Google is usually pretty good. I cannot find this batting helmet anywhere, Pat.
Okay, I'm.
Can you draw it?
No,
I have
I'm about
colored
to.
pens.
I've logged into my account here. I'm about to show you video evidence of this trash, and that's exactly what it is. After the stupid spot airs.
Not a big fan of the Twins. I don't like that M on the Twins hat.
Yeah, I like the old one better.
Yeah, that looks too much like Miami.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. So have you ordered the new City Connect jersey?
No, I'm trying to find it where it's available.
Oh, here we go. All right, I got the video. So I'm about to show you. There we go.
Oh no.
See it?
Oh. Now that looks like a bike helmet that you would buy for a bike helmet that you would buy for your daughter. And you tried, and she didn't want to wear a helmet, and you tried to get her excited about wearing a helmet.
And
that's what it looks like. 7-year-old daughter.
But see, look, it's two-tone.
Oh, it's awful.
See?
No, it's bad.
I mean, how could you describe that?
The two-tone with the fluorescent or teal blue with the pink on the other side, and it's split right down the middle.
And I didn't even notice it. Look at the striping down their pants.
We got to put this out.
It's like hot pink, and then it turns into the turquoise.
Can you still shot that? We'll put that out as our three-man front social media worst thing I've seen. That's terrible.
I'll send this to Molly. See if Molly thinks we can do something with this.
I can't believe they let them play in those things. That's awful.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Like something you would wear on a roller
Yeah,
derby team.
you describe it, Molly.
It looks. The colors remind me of like a roller skating rink.
That's good.
That's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah. Gloria Estefan, one of her videos
Yes.
from the 80s, you would have seen those colors featured prominently, I would think.
All right, Molly, will you send that out
Yeah. I
to
guess.
the masses?
Do people want to see this?
Careful,
No,
people,
kidding.
if you're eating.
I'll keep looking to see if there's
Because
maybe
those unis are gross. Well, for the franchise, for the most part, it's not good.
Here, I'm going to send you another one, too. You can do a couple pictures, can't you, Molly?
Yeah.
Okay. This will give everyone a view of their front of their jerseys.
At the number 3-man front. They're on Twitter. Also, you can find us on Instagram and TikTok as well. So the worst thing that we have seen today, and it's the Marlins uniform that Pat has pointed out, those should not be worn by human beings.
No, not at all.
Those should be sent disaster relief. Not even to be worn.
They should be sent overseas.
To be used as
right?
rags to clean things.
They should be sent to the same people that buy the old national championship jerseys of teams that don't win the national championship.
You know all those Duke and Florida jerseys that they're having, or T-shirts they're having to return. We continue. We're live here from Social Taco in Homewood. The doors are open. We're up in the terrace. You can join us upstairs. A lot of our friends joining us now. We got some of the chicken feathers, great for starters. You want to go guacamole, add the in-house bacon. You can do that. FSU Dave has arrived in all of his splendor. I don't know if he heard the prediction for FSU in Alabama, but we'll ask him as we continue. 3-man front, live from Social Taco here in Homewood, right here on Jocks. 12:23, we continue live from Social Taco here in Homewood. Michael always does such a wonderful job of taking care of us and our great Jocks listeners. She heard me say her name. She turned around. SocialTaco.bar. Choose one of your Trustvillians.
Yes, she is.
Takes care of folks. The text line is open, 205-834-9450. A lot of discussion throughout the show and any portion of the show that you might have missed or you just want to hear again because it was so darn delightful. You can go to jocksfm.com and the Three Man Front podcast. The text line is always open. We appreciate your interaction each and every day on the show. And Pat just brought up some of the City Connect uniforms. Braves got a new City Connect. You can go and check those out online. And this one coming in from one of our listeners in the great state of Mississippi on the Jocks app. I like how on the sleeve of the Braves City Connect they have ATL. It's the old school TBS Superstation lettering. Interesting. Well, now I'm starting to warm up to the jersey. I like what they did. Austin, who's a big Braves fan, text into the show, sends us a picture. Okay. Your approval, Pat?
Yep. Looks good.
Baby blue. You got the Atlanta in cursive with not the scripted A, but the other style A. I need to get one of those hats. Yeah, looking good. How much is that jersey going to cost?
Off the top of my head, I probably would say $149.
Okay. Miami uniforms look like Richard Simmons and Olivia Newton-John had a baby. That's a whole nother conversation. Thank you. Oh. There you go.
That's bad. Yeah, Molly has tweeted out the 3 pictures that we have posted. The worst thing that I've seen for today.
That literally looks like, hey, we're playing in this tournament. Man, we got the same batting helmets as the Mississippi Fever. They say we can't have the same batting helmets. Larry, go to Ace and pick us up some spray paint, and we're going to differentiate these. No, man, we don't need tape. Here, just take the straight edge right there. We'll just divide. That's what it looks like. That looks like
You know,
crap.
when I tuned in for a couple minutes of that game, the first thing that I thought of is I'm a professional athlete, and I have busted my backside all these years to get to the point to where I am, and I'm standing in a locker room putting that trash on my body. I'm like going, what are we doing here? This is bad.
Yeah, why don't you just make me wear the Marlin mascot uniform to the plate?
Might as well.
It might look better than that. It's the paint. It's everything. It's the colors. It's the paint. It's like a matted fluorescent, which I don't think ever works. Yes. Marlins are just the Marlins. Bring back the aquarium. Yeah, great point. Marlins took a page from Cosmic Bowling. Cosmic Bowling on a helmet. That's it. Or Alvin's Island license plate.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Can you put my name on it with some fluorescent colors in the background that kind of look like sunset at the beach? Landrum, just buy the jersey from, I have to put my glasses on, it'll cost you close to $30. Oh, they're telling me buy it at the game?
That might be that place where Damien gets off his jerseys.
Posey said that the Marlins should play under black lights. That would be cool.
That's funny.
This one directed at our friend Conrad. I just heard Conrad can cut grass and weed eat, but still can't change a tire.
I mean, at least I can do that.
He's a man of mysteries. Yes, he is.
Could you
Don't
imagine
need
if
to
I
ask-
came on here and said, yeah, I made Paige cut the grass and weed eat this weekend? That wouldn't
True.
go over well in my household.
Jimmy tells us tomorrow when we talk to Terry Bowden, ask him if Jimbo Fisher was the best quarterback he ever coached.
We will ask him.
A lot of people thinking you were accusing your son of stealing your Cardinals hat.
You know what? If he did, I would be okay with that.
Back to the 7'9" guy from Florida who's decided he's going to,
Leave. Go to the portal.
yes, not be a fighter pilot. The issue seems to be athleticism at this point in his career, according to one of our listeners. In a short-lived experiment, football team tried him as a field goal blocker. His height and wingspan seemed like a no-brainer. He was then able to block a single kick. Gator Nation is rooting for him, and I hope he blossoms into a stellar NBA career. Best wishes, Oliver. You are loved and will be missed.
Well, one SEC school is done with spring practice. The University of Missouri. Eli Drinkwitz got a brand new fat contract. They got a quarterback out of the transfer portal from Oxford, Mississippi. The number one SEC running back is coming back. A lot of optimism.
They got a robotic dog in their engineering department.
Yes, they got it all in Columbia. We're going to go up to Missouri, the Show Me State, and we're going to see how spring went for the Missouri Tiger football team. That's next on Three Man Front. It is 12:35. Welcome back. This is Three Man Front. We're live at Social Taco on this Tuesday. A lot of football talk today. Mike Griffith from Dog Nation, AJC, joined us a little bit earlier. The head football coach, Alex Mortensen from the UAB Blazers, joined us. A reminder, tomorrow at 12 noon, former Auburn head football coach Terry Bowden will be a guest on this program. Let's now go to the great state of Missouri, the Show Me State. Eli Hoff joins us from the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. He covers the University of Missouri for that fine newspaper. Joins us now on the Higginbotham Hotline. Happy spring, Eli. I hope you're doing well.
I am doing well. We wrap up spring early here in Missouri. Spring football happened a couple weeks ago, so this is a bit of downtime for me. I'm doing well and glad to be with you today.
Well, before we get into football, I do want to ask you about Dennis Gates and the Mizzou basketball program. They make the NCAA basketball tournament, and I know Mizzou fans are a little bit disappointed, probably because right across the Mississippi River, you got Illinois now playing in the Final Four. That's one of their big rivals. But just to kind of put a bow on that basketball season, in your opinion, for this Missouri Tiger team.
Yeah, it's an interesting situation where it can be two things, or it can be viewed two ways. On the one hand, it was certainly positive that Mizzou was back in the NCAA tournament, back-to-back tournament appearances for this program for the first time since it joined the SEC. So that's undeniably a good thing that Mizzou is getting to the postseason with that kind of consistency. But at the same time, it's back-to-back first-round exits in back-to-back kind of winnable first-round matchups. Where last year it was bowing out to Drake in the first round. That was an upset. This year Mizzou was the higher seed against Miami, but that game was played in St. Louis. It felt like a home game, honestly, a home game and then some in terms of the atmosphere there. And so for the Tigers to then go out and lose in that environment, that certainly makes it a little more disappointing. So there's some frustration because it feels like missed opportunities. But again, it's not like it's a catastrophe. It's that weird kind of nuance where it's both things.
Eli, switching over to football, the Tigers, as you mentioned, they have already wrapped up their spring. Ahmad Hardy, talented transfer. He broke onto the scene in Monroe, Louisiana in his first freshman year. Last year transfers to Missouri. Standout. Every college football fan knows what he did. He's returning. That's huge. I look at quarterback and looking at Austin Simmons coming in and what he was expected to do and be before the injury in Trinidad Chambliss, I think it's an upgrade at quarterback and maybe at some of the other skill positions. Your thoughts on at least the offensive haul, what's returning for Eli Drinkwitz in that offense under Chip Lindsey?
Yeah, I think it's certainly positive. I mean, getting to have an All-American tailback come back for a second season like that's never going to be a bad thing. So that's fantastic. This was really happy to keep Jamal Roberts, who was the second running back, kind of the 1B last year. They were able to bring him back as well. So that's your top two running backs from a really, really productive ground game coming back for this year. Certainly a lot of excitement about that. There's a lot more optimism for Austin Simmons as well. You know, he is an unknown to a degree simply because he just didn't get to play a whole lot once Trinidad Chambliss burst onto the scene last year. But you look at just his build, he looks like an SEC quarterback, and he's going to be a hard guy to break down. He throws a good ball. All of that stuff is there. And then he like you said, he was supposed to be the guy at Ole Miss for Lane Kiffin last year before the injury in the Trinidad situation. So I don't think you can hold that against him by any means. There's certainly optimism that Mizzou's found an upgrade at quarterback compared to what they got from Bo Prabila a year ago. We'll see how much of an upgrade that is, but I do think there's a high degree of confidence that the quarterback position is going to be better this year than it was last.
Well, it is interesting because with Chip Lindsey coming over from Michigan, and you take a look, and you just mentioned the Austin Simmons transfer from Ole Miss, but being able to have Hardy back, and I want to bring up Jamal Roberts because a lot of people don't remember, but 753 yards rushing last year, and I'm just putting that in the parlance of our listeners down here, Eli. That is 10th best in the SEC, but that was 200 more yards than the number one running back for Alabama last year. Alabama's leading rusher only had 500 yards, and that was Jam Miller. So you've got Ahmad Hardy coming back, 1,600 yards rushing. Jamal Roberts at 753. That is a really nice 1-2 punch, and you throw in Austin Simmons. This offense should be really good for Chip Lindsey.
Yeah, I think so, and I don't think this is me being a homer, being hyperbolic when I say that's the best 1-2 punch at running back you're going to have, certainly anywhere in the SEC, probably in the country, because where else do you have a guy who set the school record last season, and you also have another running back who picked up 750 yards. It's just ridiculous what Mizzou was able to do on the ground. And I think that's part of why Chip Lindsey was the offensive coordinator hire, replacing Kirby Moore, who left for Washington State. He's a guy who's very similar to Eli Drinkwitz in offensive philosophy, that there's going to be a lot of outside zone. There's going to be reliance on run first, pass second, and all of that. So I think that's all going to stay the same. And where Jamal Roberts really becomes helpful, he's a great third down back in that he can catch the ball. He's fantastic in pass protection. But what you saw last year was a better and better ability to actually run the ball and produce explosive carries. So now if Mizzou puts him on the field on third down, it's not like they're really seeing that much of a drop-off in running back ability.
I just wanted to ask you, and this is not anything to do with on the field, but Eli Drinkwitz, we know that his name was up in conversation for not only the Auburn job, Penn State, and others this past season. Missouri continues to value Eli Drinkwitz, gets a new deal there in Como. But if you had to gauge or measure the level of excitement or value, how that program, that fan base holds Eli Drinkwitz in retaining him and keeping him there for the long haul, scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, where would it be?
Yeah, I think the fan base is probably somewhere around a 6. Maybe you could say a 7 or an 8, depending on just what kind of result they're coming off of. Right, if it's a win, that's probably higher or lower, since every game has to be a referendum on it. But fans certainly appreciate what he's done to resurrect this program over the course of his tenure, and just the way he has changed the expectations, so that last year's 8-win season, that felt like a disappointment, whereas 3 years prior, that would have been a very successful season at Missouri. So he has changed the standard and raised the bar. What's really important, though, I mean, he gets a 10 on that front from the administration here. Everything I hear from the athletic department up to the board of curators, that's the governing board of the university, they adore Eli Drinkwitz. That's a reason why he got an aggressive raise. They were willing to really give him whatever he needed to stay last season. They didn't want money to be a factor in why he left. They're building a new end of the stadium that's going to be open for this season. That was $250 million. There's been a new practice facility. I mean, all of this investment in him and his program, the administration, I don't think could value him any higher than they currently do.
Let's go back to the team for a second, because people may forget this was the second best defense in the SEC. Take us on that side of the ball, at least during spring drills. What is the expectation for the defensive side this year?
Yeah, it's hard to know because more or less every starter from the last year's defense is gone. And I say more or less because there are a couple guys who had just a couple of starts who are back, but the majority of the starters, the majority of the snaps from last season are entirely gone, whether that's NFL draft, expired eligibility, or the transfer portal. So this is going to be a different kind of test to maintain close to that level of defensive production with a very different set of players. So there will be some familiar names coming back. Darius Smith, who was once upon a time at Georgia, will be one of the primary edge rushers. Nicholas Rodriguez, who broke onto the scene as a linebacker last year, he'll be one of the core pieces there. The secondary is going to be very, very different looking from last year. It's going to be an entirely new group of corners, which was necessary. That was the weak spot in the defense last year. It's going to be a couple new guys at safeties. And even though there are some familiar names, most of that defensive line rotation is going to be new as well. So it's changed to a degree where coming out of spring ball, you can't really pin down the depth chart because so many of these positions are still up for grabs, and spring ball just didn't settle that. So I think you're going to see a lot of moving and shaking over the course of OTAs and fall camp because there's just so many starting spots that are up for grabs.
All right, let's do our best. Way too early. Let's pretend it's SEC Media Days in Tampa. If we're voting Missouri, because I'm looking at the schedule as we speak, Eli, it looks like it's manageable based on some of the teams that you get coming to Como. If you're going to throw out a number right now, what is that number as far as regular season wins you'd feel comfortable with?
Yeah, I think it would be somewhere between 8 and 9, but I'll say 9 here because it's early in the off season and we can do that. The schedule is nice that you have 5 SEC home games. So I think that's favorable. Mizzou is at Kansas in the non-con, which would be a heck of a rivalry game, but certainly a very winnable game. So I still think, like you said, it's a manageable schedule. I think the defense will probably take a little bit of a step back just by virtue of how much is being replaced. I think the offense takes a step forward. Ahmad Hardy, I think, is just as good, if not better, this season. So I think all in all, that's probably worth one more regular season win than Mizzou managed last year.
That is Eli Hoff. Does an outstanding job covering the University of Missouri athletics for the St. Louis Post-Dispatch. Eli, always a pleasure having you on, man. Hope to catch up with you again soon.
Thanks, Eli.
Of course. Thanks for having me on, y'all. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. That's Eli Hoff joined us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
Interesting. Some of the things that Eli just shared with us, we will discuss as we continue live from Social Taco in the Square in Homewood on Jocks. Welcome back in, Social Taco Gringo. Thanks for joining us. FSU Dave bringing me another one of his egg roll creations. We're going to go chicken parm later on tonight after bowling. So we did Philly cheesesteak last week and then Reuben the week before. So we appreciate FSU Dave. All of our friends here at Social Taco want to tell you about our friends at Mandu right down the street from where we are originating right now, but Mandu in downtown Homewood. It's electrical muscle stimulation fitness. It's a 15-minute workout. That's right. Because of FDA-approved technology, it doesn't hurt. They put you into what kind of feels and looks like a wetsuit, hook you up to a machine that sends electric pulses to various parts of your body, different muscle groups. Because of that technology, the way it works, it's a 15-minute workout, but your body is going to think that you've been in a gym exercising. lifting for 6 hours. That's what's revolutionary about their approach. First visit's free. They'll put you through the workout. You decide if Mandu is right for you. MANDUU.com. MANDUU.com, located conveniently in downtown Homewood. Tell Paul and the gang at Mandu that Landrum from Jock sent you.
So, Conrad, a little bit of news on the Alabama basketball front. If you share with the audience some news that Nick Kelly reported just a few minutes ago.
Yes, Pat, we have some news coming in from – wait, are you talking about the –
Did not mean to throw you a curveball.
Sorry, I was getting ready for I was taking care of Eli's podcast.
I'm just imagining Conrad
as
a kid wearing an adult baseball uniform and that stupid Marlins helmet right now in the batter's box, just swinging with just aimlessly at a ball.
No, and listen, I do a lot of things that obviously some people, they chastise me that I pick on Conrad.
You do.
And I do it in love. But I really did not mean to do that.
No, it's okay. We're talking about Nas.
No, I can say as someone who watches Pat's reaction when he is picking on Conrad, that was not the reaction we got. It was the reaction I just got from him when he asked you to do that was, oh, I might have thrown him a curveball.
Yeah, I'm ready now.
And I didn't mean to do that.
I thought he was holding up 2 fingers when he was saying, bring me the heater.
I was expecting 2-seamer, but now I'm ready for the curveball.
Okay. Well, go ahead. Take it from there, Conrad.
Okay, thank you, Pat.
And the delivery.
And thank you for the setup. So we have learned that Nas Cunningham, the former member of the...
You're just not having a very good day, are you?
No, well, the names are really throwing me off today, Pat. The names are really
fouls
throwing
that
me
one
off.
right off his foot, 0-1.
That's right. We're going to restart now. Nas Cunningham, a former member of the Alabama Crimson Tide, has announced that he is going to re-enter the transfer portal. So he had previously transferred from Alabama to UNLV. Guess him and Dan Mullen maybe got to hang out a little bit there. But he is a 6'7" redshirt freshman. He averaged 5 points there for UNLV this season, and he was a former top 50 recruit back in the 2024 recruiting class. And just to take you back down to that class for a moment, there were 4 big names in that class for Alabama. You had Darion Reed, who was 16th overall, Aiden Sherrill, who was 24th overall, LeBaron Philon, 34th, and then Nas Cunningham was the 49th overall prospect in that class. And as we know, Darion at Oklahoma now, Nas Cunningham looking for his 3rd home, and then Aiden Sherrill hopefully to be retained by the Crimson Tide this year, and LeBaron Philon to be a lottery pick. So that's a 50% hit rate, right?
Yeah, and that's the reason I brought it up is just pointing out that just like we see in football, I mean, you could have one of these great signing classes, and then the retention is the big problem. And Alabama, out of those 4 players that you just mentioned, 2 ended up having significant time and as major contributors to the basketball program.
Clearly the 2, let's be honest, the 2 best kids out of that class, Pat. Come on.
Yeah.
Not saying
anything
bad about
their
Reed's
career
been good
at
at
UNLV, who was also 6'7" when they started their career at UNLV.
Who's that?
Conrad, you'll love it. Keyshawn Hall.
I forgot that he was there before UCF.
He weighed 290 at 6'7".
He weighed 290?
Yes.
He slimmed down.
When he started his career, he weighed close to 300 pounds. Isn't that hard to believe?
That is.
Go and look at some of his high school pictures.
That is quite the body transformation that he had there. But we'll see if Nas Cunningham lands, I guess we always say the grass isn't always greener, and when you go from Alabama to UNLV and you average 5 points a game and you're back in the portal, I think that might be another scenario of the grass wasn't greener.
The NFL owners, they're having the NFL owners coaches meetings out in Phoenix. And just moments ago, the NFL owners have approved 4 rule changes for the upcoming NFL season. By the competition committee, they will now permit the kicking team to declare an onside kick at any time during the game.
Wow.
So if you want to do an onside kick in the first quarter, have at it.
I'm going to start the game.
The competition committee, you can do that as well.
Let's do it.
To eliminate the kicking team's incentive to intentionally kick the ball out of bounds when kicking off from the 50-yard line. Also, the competition committee to modify the kickoff alignment requirements for the receiving team, players in the setup zone. And this is the most interesting one to me. For 1 year only, They're going to allow the NFL officiating department to correct clear and obvious misses made by an on-field official that impact the game in the event that there is a work stoppage involving the game officials represented by the NFL Referees Association.
What's the one we get in the UFL late in the game where it's obvious and they can throw it? That's what we need.
Past the super challenge?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The obvious ones, we're screaming at our TV. We need those challenges. I'm here for it.